Guys, I'm here with GaryVee, the famous GaryVee, for this episode of Next with Novo. So, Gary, what did you think? We freaking met with Michael Rubin on the All-In Challenge.
Yes.
And I was kind of blown away because I was like, God, who is this guy who just keeps talking and getting shit done? And I know everything. I got it. So, and I showed up thinking, who are these people?
I love meeting people. Nothing's more fun than when you meet someone when you're trying to do good. You know, our relationship will always be bounded by we met when we were taking enormous. I mean, I was spending 12 hours on that fucking thing in the beginning every day, and we raised $60 million to help people get food during COVID, and the people that donated got crazy shit, being in movies, swag. It was cool.
So full disclosure, you know, Michael Rubin started this thing. He brought in Gary, brought in Alan Tisch, and he asked me if I'd help him. And it was the thing I've probably been the least successful at in my life. I had a ton of fun doing it. I was almost no help, but it was a ton of fun.
But your mustache was epic.
I had a great mustache.
That I remember. And listen, to your point, like everybody had different roles, different things happen. To your point, there's many things I get involved in where the intent is the epic and sometimes it doesn't go exactly how I thought. But this is what I love about time. To your point, maybe you going after super whales for big donations. First of all, that was hardcore Hail Mary.
Right.
B, you were saying things in meetings that helped the process. I think people sometimes spend too much time on thinking the output was the only KPI. Sometimes one person says one thing in one meeting and it matters. That's what I remember. I remember thoughtfulness.
And the mustache. The mustache
is what I think about first. But the thoughtfulness is definitely, like, it helped. You work through things with people, you think, you have conversations. Listen, we will look back at this combo in 80 years. I'll listen to it. 80, I'm not sure I'm going to make it that far, but 40. And I'll be like, wow, a lot of that was right. Oh shit, I really fucking didn't have that right. And that's fun. That's like, I just want people to be less scared.
I don't think that many people feel that terrible for the three guys that went out of business. Now, listen.
By the way, on the record, I do. I feel bad for somebody who went out of business.
They were
I know nothing about that.
They are stunningly wealthy guys. They are stunningly good investors. They will regroup and they'll live happily ever after. They're embarrassed.
I actually think
they lost their investors a ton of money.
Listen, I think compassion and empathy and sympathy is a required way to get back to a non-separating society.
100%.
I'm to your point. I don't know I don't know the names of any of them. Melvin, is that one thing?
Melvin Capital is
good, right? And so there's humans underneath it, I'm sure, right? So I don't know who the humans we're talking about are.
Three of the best investors of the generation.
Right. So I'm sure that, to your point, they'll be fine.
Yes.
They have hard assets they can liquidate.
They got caught sleeping with giant short positions and never expected a hive of bees would come all at once. It's like the African bees are here.
Yeah. And by the way, that's just business.
Yes.
That's like them shorting the people. That's just business to me.
What is interesting from an anthropological view, from a markets view, is that after that first push and you squeeze the shorts, then it became David versus Goliath. Then it became class warfare. Then it became generational warfare. You know,
I had a conversation, very thoughtful combo last night. This is me just talking about the combo, where the person didn't like the leverage that some people played to stop it from a tech standpoint and an infrastructure standpoint, but loved what Facebook and Twitter did to stopping other voices.
Oh yeah.
So like to me, there's a bigger question here.
Listen, AOC was fearful for her life in that Capitol, and every progressive said this is horrible. I can't believe they attacked the Capitol. They put our lives at risk. When the mob was literally going after Wall Street, burn it down. It was a nihilistic mob. I mean, one of the guys, whose fund went out of business, got death threats. I put some neutral comments on, and the vitriol that came at me on Twitter, and I'm kind of a crypto guy. I'm part of the progressive movement that's saying we need to remake things. And just because I was trying to give the facts,
well, I think
death threats,
I also think
anger.
I also think
there was a different energy.
I think that's a
energy.
whole different conversation. I think we live in a society where you can hide behind a keyboard, and everyone's always tougher in behind 100%. The veil, right? Like if you look at Whisper and Secret, which are historic social apps that a lot of people bet on that I didn't. It was the reason I didn't bet on it is because everything I've done in my career is based on what I believe in humanity. And so I believe that Whisper and Secret were not going to win because I believe that when you have anonymous, you get the worst version of people where they feel safe to express their hurt. So I'm not even mad at them. I'm not even mad at those people. I just know that's their safest place to share their internal hurt. And so I didn't, and those platforms continue to not do well. As a matter of fact, the business models of all these anonymous platforms is to put hostage of the people. Look at some of look at Yelp and Glassdoor. Like, it's a very interesting ecosystem. So I think it's a fascinating conversation.
Should everyone need a blue check? I kind of think so, but
yeah, I mean, that goes, listen, back to like you being a crypto guy from Wall Street. I'm a social media guy who wants every metric hidden. I don't want followers shown. I don't want blue checks. I just think it's going to be healthier for people. I'm good. I'm good when I suck. I'm good when I blue checked. I'm good when I'm GaryVee right now.
Well, I say blue check because then you know who the guy is.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't have the. So we don't.
Yeah,
have,
that was my big. It was funny. I loved Facebook when it first came out because I'm like, cool. People can't hide like they do on like early stuff, like and that lasted for a while, and then it was the opposite, and now everything's privacy, and that's fine. Listen, I think it's great. I think it's progress. I really do. I think that there's incredible progress going on. My biggest fear is the regulation of the internet itself.
Yeah.
I think we're making tremendous progress. There's incredible thoughtfulness. I really believe it plays out in a level place where merit and good stuff. I'm happy about everything that's going on while being very conscious that what will likely lead this. I think you've got both sides of conservative and progressive movements willing to regulate the shit out of the American internet without realizing what that actually means. I think we're dangerously close.
No, it won't. Listen, but it was funny. We had this beautiful inauguration. Amanda Gordon gives this poem. Everyone I know had a tear in their eye. It was like normalcy. And 2 days later, we have Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, but I think 2 days later you have actual capitalism. I actually disagree with that. Let me rephrase. That's not what I disagree with because I understand where you're coming from. I take a different angle at it. I actually think 2 days later we had true capitalism. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
Let me phrase for context for everybody who's listening. To the point of the buying. To be frank, I'm so undereducated on Citadel's relationship with Robinhood. I actually am so basic that I don't even know how this all works, meaning why they had the leverage of like the bids go through them and the trading. Like, I don't know it. Literally, I don't know. Right. So I come here, very authentic. Like, I don't know if because I also know, correct me if I'm wrong, Novo, it wasn't just that Robinhood, E-Trade and the others also halted it because I guess the thing above the thing stopped it and they all get affected by it.
The clearinghouse. You have to have enough money to support the clearinghouse. And the SEC said, whoa, this is growing so fast. These banks aren't these trading entities, right. Robin, don't have enough capital, regulatory capital. Yep. And so you got to slow down until you get more regulatory capital.
Here becomes
that's fair regulation.
We
want regulation.
Here's what I don't think people are educated enough about. People are always like, this game is rigged. I'm like, take a step back. You can re-rig the next game. What do I mean by that? People cry about what they can't do, but don't focus on what they can do. For example, people can decide in their companies that they don't want to do the 401k. They don't have to support it. They can not put money in tomorrow. You could go buy
a house.
Take the money out. Buy something. Look what's going on with blockchain, NFTs. My favorite one of everything that's happening, sports cards, which then means comic books, toys, paintings, tchotchkes, cars, watches, like shit can. I laugh at people's naivete on how basic this combo is. That same group can have 20,000 people decide that these sneakers are interesting.
Look at these cool kicks I got.
You know what I mean? So what's happening is the acceleration of supply and demand and cultural norms. So to me, because it's Wall Street, there's a little bit of like, fuck that shit. Well, there's way more fuck that shit going on. I agree. Wait till college gets its day.
But so what's
Novo, real quick.
Oh, college is going to get crushed.
College is a fucking joke. No, really, come on. I know people think because I was a bad. No, kids are getting hurt. People are mad that they lost a couple $40 on Wall Street on a trade. I'm like, you're $73,000 in debt for a piece of paper that gives you dick.
We have 4,400 colleges in America, 4,400 colleges. That's probably 3,400 too many. I mean,
brother, they're charging full price right now for fucking Zoom classes that if they listen to this podcast, they'll learn more about in an hour than the entire semester of that dog shit they get at the state university.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. We passed this myth that you need to go to college to do well in life. Everyone believes in the story.
We haven't.
What?
We're not past that myth.
No, we created that myth.
Passed on. I'm sorry.
Passed on this myth.
Yes,
right?
we did.
Yes. And therefore, if you're a parent, if you're a student, you think, I'm not good unless I go to college. And then the economics say, well, geez, if you look, a college graduate does a lot better than a non-college graduate. And so we're in this transition.
Big
right?
one.
A big transition. I agree.
This one's going to fall hardest.
Yeah, and the pyramid's going to go like this as opposed to
Correct.
like this.
That one's going to be fascinating to watch. And by the way, on the record for people that follow me, zero pleasure. Zero. I don't have anything against NC State. I have no feelings towards Michigan. I don't have any ill will towards Yale. And I think Yale and a couple other brands survive because of brand. But I have sadness and compassion in my heart for the enormity, to the point where people believe that the government should be. I'm like, fuck that. You made a decision. What about accountability? You decided to go. Like, you didn't have to.
Well, yeah, but again, people often aren't in control of their own decisions. These stories are so powerful. And everyone's saying your kid's got to go to school or you're a terrible parent. And so they sacrifice their life to send the kid to school.
If we go by what everybody says, then now you're getting into the truth of it all. The truth of it all. Self-esteem, self-awareness, insecurity.
I wish the whole country had gotten to this self-introspection, self-awareness, It
can. Sometimes all the carnage and all the disruption leads to it. Yeah. I'm sitting pretty if we can just hold our breath. I mean, the thoughtfulness of combos that are going on right now is incredibly good.
That I agree with.
Well, good. That's the punchline. That's how change happens. That's how. But let there be no confusion. Humans will always have self-interest. Like this nobleness makes me laugh. Like, there's not a fucker listening to this, or in the 8 billion of us walking around, that doesn't have a human shortcoming. And so when you pick on one person for being too about that money, somebody else is pissing on you because you're fucking terrible for the environment. Or if you're talking about this, you're great on black rights, but you're horrible on transgen. Or you're this, like this. We have to get thoughtful about giving some people we're suffocating people's ability to say, I'm sorry, and to say, I need to figure this out.
We definitely don't do sorry well in this country at
We're
all.
atrocious at it.
Atrocious.
I love sorry. I love I suck. I'm serious. It's good.
There's another piece to this though. So yesterday, right, I'm on CNBC and I'm telling people, listen, if you were lucky enough to be one of the early smart guys that started the short squeeze, great. But now you're working people into this lather.
Because you're talking about economics.
I'm taking up economics.
I know.
And you're sucking people in. I got a call from a good friend of mine who I've been trying to mentor. He's like, dude, I just bought some of this stock. Put $100,000 into AMC. And I was like, what price? He's like, 17. I was like, sell it immediately. Went down to 7 the next day. I was like, so it's dangerous when the crowd whips up people into a frenzy.
It's actually not dangerous. I actually think
people are losing. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money that they don't have to lose.
But that's important to happen because merit matters. No, I look at it like this: parents over coddle kids. It's good for the kid to skin their knee. I don't want John from Reddit to lose money, but John's a big boy. Like, John made a decision. This is back to college. Made a decision. Fuck the system. Or, by the way, I'm very good at reading things. Like, this is what I do for a living. 90% of them had nothing to do with fuck anything other than fuck, I can make some money. Promise. The enormity of people that were going in were like, wait a minute, can I make a quick little, they're the same people that bought Bitcoin and Ethereum or baseball, Michael Jordan, they're all looking for angles. There was an incredible amount of American capitalism
that was going on.
Everybody's paying attention to they're going to burn down the 88-year-old white billionaire. Fine, cool. And there is some of that. But let me promise you something. The person that is the most noble and hates Wall Street the most didn't put their life fortune into AMC. They might have bought 50 to make themselves feel good. But people did what they did for themselves. Most people did it because they wanted to make money. And the people that got caught going up and now are caught and lost $1,800, they're not going to play so fast next time.
Right? That's all true.
But that's real though. That's how. This is what I keep going down to. 5.3 billion guy.
You're anti-paternalism.
I'm anti overreactionism. $5.3 billion guy. You educated me. I didn't know. You're gonna be okay. Hey, Big L fucking sucks. You're gonna be okay. $1,800 John from Reddit loss with $4,000 in savings. Big L.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. And I believe in that shit, Novo. That's how I think humans still exist. We've had atomic bombs since the 50s. How the fuck are we still here? I think there's an underlining protectionism in the collective that happens with humans that we do not talk enough about. I really believe that.
No, it's a big process.
What are we talking about on this podcast?
We kind of talk about whatever we want to talk about. Like,
Let's talk about NFT.
NFTs. My favorite new topic.
I'm so obsessed too. I'm spending a ton of time on this. In my own brain.
So for people that don't know what NFTs are, right? Non-fungible tokens. These are one of the great parts about the whole crypto space, the blockchain space. Satoshi's white paper is that it was the first digital signature that you couldn't counterfeit. So think about what that means. You can make digital art that no one can counterfeit. And so all of a sudden, art gets its value from scarcity. And so the blockchain allows you to do that. So now we're going to see artists for the first time ever create art digitally, right? The great artists. They never did before. So you're going to sell digital art. You're going to actually take your phone. You're going to buy it. It's going to go on your phone. You're going to walk home and you're going to throw it up on a giant screen. And you're like, that's mine. No one else owns that thing. That's mine. And so we're going to have collectibles. They're going to create new collectibles,
100%.
right? There's going to be, instead of baseball cards that
there's NBA Top Shop. They're so rare.
Top Shop's blowing up all of a sudden.
I'm looking at it every day.
And so then there are going to be fractional things that get sold.
Well, that's what's happening. The fractionalization of physical things is a game changer. The reason Michael Jordan's rookie card is going to $1 million.
Because you can sell 100.
Correct.
Yes.
Because Kenny and Stefan actually want it. I know them. They do. But they're not dropping $350,000 on a single sports card.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And I know them. But would they drop $350 if they knew it was going to $1 million? That's no different than buying a little Tesla and Apple stock. The fractionalization of sports cards is going to get that market insane on the tippy top.
And so, and you're going to fractionalize jerseys. You're going to fractionalize cars. You're going to fractionalize all kinds of things.
Yeah, memorabilia is going to follow
But even bigger than that are going to be these NFTs. You're going to have
I agree.
The Super Bowl. We're going to have Mahomes, and I'm going to have an artist do a painting, a digital painting of him, and a rapper sing a little song behind him, and then he's going to be up there, and you're going to sell that little clip from the Super Bowl done by Chase Hall or whoever the artist is, and people are going to be like, dude, there's only 10 of those, and they're going to buy them, and they're going to keep them.
I think people need to know how to showcase them.
Yeah.
The missing piece, just for the record, because I want to clip this one day and say, you know how I like to do my content. Yeah. In 9 years, I'll clip this and be like, see, told you. You're 100% right in one other man's humble opinion. Why artworks is high net worth individuals buy a piece of art, and whether they put it in a Moroccan, warehouse, or whether they put it in their Upper West Side apartment, or whether they have a show that they donated to something, they're able to,
display it.
They're
going to be
and
really
the reason
cool.
sports cards is because you take a selfie and put it on Instagram. We love to flex. I'm waiting to understand the flexivization of the NFT, and as soon as I understand it,
it's coming.
Oh, I'm the least confused of all time. I'm curious what it's going to be. I want to invest in it because it's going to be the shovels and picks of that world.
We have a Galaxy Interactive fund that's invested in 40.
That's the name of it?
Galaxy Interactive.
What are you, Star
we're
Trek
all
nerd?
about the galaxy.
That?
We're more Star Wars people than Star Trek people.
Me too. I see the Boba Fett. Big shout out to that. Greedo is underrated.
But we invest in 40 companies in the gaming space, new worlds.
Yep.
In probably a third of them, they're already playing with these things.
We are no question, because we're now 30, 40, 50, year, depending on how you want to look at it, years into the modern internet, really 30 in my opinion. It's the biggest technology that's ever happened in the history of life, outside of things like fucking fire and like the printing press is the one that I keep going back to. Television, phone, fine, but this is like printing press 10.0.
Yeah. Every piece of our life is changed.
Correct.
And how we meet people, how we elect officials,
Everything.
50% of people today meet their spouse online. That's crazy.
There's a lot of people who don't want the world to change. There's also, because I know how people are going to take that line, there's a lot of people that want the world to change that are going to be highly disappointed what the world looks like.
That's true.
Mike, why would Russia, China, and America allow crypto to happen?
Well, there are two pieces to it. One, there is an unbelievable efficiency gain. And so if you think about it, banks are rent takers.
Yep.
stock markets are rent takers, insurance companies are rent takers, and so crypto at its core cuts out the rent taker. It's peer to peer, right? And so if you're thinking for just efficiency gain, good for your people. If you care about your people. What's funny, the progressives get nervous about crypto. It's the most progressive thing on the planet.
100,000%.
But I tell you, the progressive politics, they're like, well,
listen, that's only just comes from lack of education.
Lack of education. One of my missions this year is to sit down with
funny, right, to your point.
AOC and the squad and literally educate them on, it's like, dude, you've got to be on the team of the crypto people.
But people we're so used to headlines now. People walk around society feeling very comfortable talking about shit they don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that you notice.
I come on here and I'm like, I don't know how brokerages work. I'm comfortable saying I don't know Wall Street. I don't give a fuck. The only reason I even have any stock is because my private investments went public. Other than that, it doesn't make me happy. I think it's very logical to invest in it. I also think real estate is logical. I don't invest in that either. It doesn't make me happy.
But baseball cards certainly do.
Happy as fuck. Specifically basketball.
How much TV do you watch?
Very little.
I figured that. You just feel like you're just going.
I spend almost all my time consuming people. What my people will tell you is that's what my great gift is. That it's funny. I talk a lot. I'm sure people that listen to your podcast are like, get this fucking guy off. He's talking over Michael. I get it because I'm so rarely talking actually. But everybody thinks I'm always talking because I'm so good at content creation and distribution that I'm everywhere. But it's not. It's in a very limited window. Like, I do a podcast. I'm going to get like 8,000 pieces of content out of this. But I'm really spending 15 hours a day operating and listening. You two know this. But so I have I've come to realize I'm a really interesting enigma. Like I'll spend 3 hours in one subreddit listening.
Interesting.
I'll spend 4 hours in a Discord listening. I'll spend years in Twitter and Instagram reading just the comments. I knew more about Cardi B before I'd even listened to one of her songs because I was listening to people conversating around. And that's how my brain works. So I like learning from documentaries. I love history because I use it. Hence, where did the printing press come from? The fact that history was the only class I was good at in my entire educational life. The fact that most of the TV I watch is documentaries. I like using history to tell me the future. And then I like being in the dirt and putting in the work to listen, to take the data points and filter it through history for the future. And that is where my success comes from.
How do you unwind? Ever? Do you ever unwind?
I unwind. The New York Jets allow me to unwind tremendously. I'm being dead serious. People laugh at this, but caring so much about something that means nothing is an incredible way to unwind.
They say this. There's studies that say rabid sports fans have better mental health because they get all their anger and all their shit out by screaming at the goddamn horrible team they're rooting for.
So I need to do a little homework on that studies, because I actually think I understand the world through the lens of a Jets fan. Let me explain. I struggle hating people, including right now when it's easier than ever for people to hate each other. But I hate Bill Belichick. And I really actually feel it. Like when I go to Foxborough and go in the stadium, the things that go through my mind are the things that people call each other in politics. But in politics, I would never do that. So I'm irrational in sports because it doesn't mean anything. And then I think about people being irrational in life because it means something. And so I'm like this bizarro reverse. I'm my worst self in football and basketball.
Have you ever been to a UK soccer game?
I have, and I love that shit because they're my people.
It's just
because
crazy.
They really care. I think American sports fans don't care enough.
Yeah, they care.
They care, like in the UK, they like football, soccer,
right.
as we say it, around the world speaks to me a lot because they care the way I care about the Jets. I think in America, we have a slightly healthier macro relationship around fandom. I just don't. Like I go to a...
So you like... I love they have the chain link fences between the two...
I'm the least confrontational person, believe it or not, even though in video, but in real life. But I want to physically fight. Like I've done the least nice things that I know about myself have been done at Jet football games the last 10 years.
You could be a good Philadelphia fan too.
Do you know that I genuinely love Philadelphia sports because of it? And we both hate the Giants.
I went down with one of the owners of the Giants, one of the sons of the owners of the Giants, when we were working 15 years ago. We had Giants jackets. He gave me this beautiful Giants jacket. We'd flown a helicopter down. We're walking through the stadium parking lot, and a cop says, "Dude, you should take that off." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm a wrestler." He's like, "Take it off." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Take it off, cop, big cop." So I took it off and carried it in, And
Same thing
then,
was told
then
to me
I
on
understood. I
radio.
never seen that. Then I understood what they were talking
By the
about.
way, I have this, lose you know, if you're listening, Raiders playoff game, Chad Pennington that year, we go to Raiders, we're in our Jets jersey, cop goes, take the jerseys off. I'm in my combat fucking war zone mood. I'm like, no. And I looked at him and said, officer, I'd rather die. And I wore my jersey. And it got scary, to be honest. It was some scary ass shit.
I wasn't as tough as you. I took that Giants thing up, wrapped it up. I wasn't even that big of a Giants fan.
I'm literally tough nowhere. You can punk me, society, you can punk me anywhere except a football stadium. I'd rather die.
All right.
Novo. So I do this thing called overrated, underrated on Instagram, where it's my just personal opinion in the macro, if this thing, and you could obviously take a million angles on it, is overrated by society or underrated.
Paris Hilton.
For me, underrated. Because, and I'll tell you why. She understood a lot of what's going on right now.
Way in advance.
What's that?
Way in advance.
Correct.
She killed
So
it.
that's why I would say, somebody else would say she's over. Like,
She's also nice.
I'm aware. So here we go. I'm going to throw some words. Your team made some words. I may throw a couple of my own in here. So Kenny, fire away. Bojangles.
Most underrated brand in the world.
Next. That was self-interest. We don't do that on my show. Keep going. No, you're right.
Underrated.
Wrestling.
Underrated. Toughest sport in the world. All the MMA champs started as wrestlers. Builds grit, builds character, and you're never scared to get
What
in a
about
fight.
professional entertainment wrestling?
Love professional wrestling.
Why is it underrated?
You know, it's underrated because the theater of it, it's changed entertainment. It changed professional sports. Vince
agree more.
McMahon,
100%.
genius.
He's like Walt Disney. They just don't realize it.
Yes. On steroids.
Correct. Actually. Blockchain.
Blockchain's underrated. It's going to have its day. It's starting to show in 15 years. The interesting thing is you won't notice it. It'll be the back of the fucking TV.
Yeah.
But it's going to change the world in a really positive way.
I agree.
Reddit.
Well, I'm learning about Reddit real fast. Reddit, all these forums, I think, are complicated. I'll give it underrated because it's having a huge impact on the world and it's going to probably have a bigger impact. But they're complicated in terms of how do you edit through to get to.
Yeah, but I think one thing that people are missing is that these forums, whether it's 4chan, Reddit, or a Facebook group, Discord, it's just the internet.
Yeah,
These
you're
are just
right.
platforms on top of it.
Fair point.
You will not stop people from congregating on the internet unless you regulate the internet. You can block Parler all you want. You can block Reddit. This is why the point I made
They all
earlier,
go to Signal. There's somewhere to go.
But the question is, but governments can stop it. And I think people don't. That's where it gets.
I don't think they will. I think there is an
correct.
ethos in our country that runs through of freedom
listen.
Like we're not China.
Right now, we have both sides. You had AOC and Donald Trump Jr. and Ted Cruz, even though they then fought each other a little more, agreeing on something. No, in a big way. No, I really need everybody, listen, really agreeing. And I think that's an important insight to everybody. A politician in America is playing defense 24/7, 365. Right? They are constantly decision-making strictly on the behavior of winning an election that's in front of them. Pure and utter defense. And even the smartest fuckers I know, I've been able to destroy because I'm playing offense and they're playing defense. And that's the problem. That's a good way to end. I got to go.
All right.
I love you, Novo. Hope everybody likes me.
Thanks, Gary.